Alright, welcome back to another fun-filled video. In this video we are going to ask the big question, and that is how much money does YouTube pay us for 1 million video views? I will tell you all that and more in just a second. But following on from the last video that we made, which was a Q&A video for our patrons, if you haven't seen that, you can find the video here, and I'll pop a link in the description as well so you can find it nice and easily. But we had an awful lot of people asking us questions in the DMs and comment sections and sending us emails, and a lot of it revolved around sort of how do we fund this somewhat alternative lifestyle. Now, some of you may know that Carly and I we're both dyslexic. We both came from very manual jobs, so we both worked with our hands, and they were jobs that were great but didn't transfer very well to living on a boat or the marine industry. In my case, building garden fences or teaching grown men how to wrestle in pyjamas, yeah, didn't really butter many parsnips when it came to paying the bills and you're living on a boat. So how do we make money? How do we keep going? And I want to break that down for you in this video. First and foremost, the first way that we fund this lifestyle is an oldie but a goodie.
We need to talk. I think it's about time you get a job. Putting your little home movies on Snapbook is not a real job.
And there it is. Option number one is dead straightforward. Get a job. Get a job, boy. And after spending the spring, the summer, and the autumn sailing across Scotland and Ireland and down the south coast, just having a whale of a time all year exploring some of these places, it does put a dent in the sailing fund. So when we moored up for the winter, when we had to do a whole bunch of work on the boat, I jumped off the boat and just asked around the yard if there's anything going. And you know, the people in return would ask what qualifications I bring to the table, and I'd look them in the eye and say I'm pretty good at building garden fences. You might be surprised to learn that they weren't queuing up to rip my arm off at that point, but I did follow up with, look, I'll be here every day, I'll be on time, and I'm a fast learner. And eventually that did open the door of opportunity, and one man went out on a limb and he gave me an opportunity to scrape the hulls of boats. Many, many, many boats. But needs must, I suppose. And then before we knew it, the spring had arrived and we were off on another joyride around the south coast, and we had another great time. We had a great time, the spring, the summer, the autumn, really got the most out of this year. And once again, the sailing fund took a colossal kidney punch. And now we are back again in a new marina for a new winterization, for a load more winter projects. And as soon as we docked up, it was time to do the same again. Have a walk around and see what was on offer. I also get to help Ned, who owns this Rooster Red Roof Marine, Ned's place basically. Ned's been building boats for over 30 years, so I get to learn tons just by hanging around over his shoulder, asking questions. I mostly actually get to learn just how to use tools. I'm even in the inner circle, I have the passwords. See, the nice thing about this is I get to learn a lot from Ned. I get to work alongside somebody who's been building boats for 30 years. But he also, you know, lets me come in the workshop. I get to use his tools. Ned doesn't actually like it if I use his tools. But I'm pretty sure that Ned won't be watching this because Ned's not a YouTube kind of guy. Ned will go home, pour a whiskey, you know, he'll put a cigar in his mouth, fire that up, and he'll lathe something in his spare time. That's what he does. He just, because he can. He lathes stuff. Anyway, some of the guys I help out in the marina are the riggers, and when we're changing the running rigging on some people's boats, most of it's old and tatty, but some of it, maybe the bits that have lived in the mast maybe and been sort of protected from the weather, some of it's all right, and that's useful. In fact, that's where Carly's creative genius comes in.
first we pop that in for a wash, and then it goes down to phase 2, and I'll show you some that we've already got prepared.
Having realised what a waste it would be for us to take some of these perfectly good bits of line and just throw them away, Carly has taken them and decided to upcycle them. So she has started turning these into dog leads and dog collars, which started out as something cool for Hank, and then we thought there's probably other people out there with dogs that like the idea of upcycling rather than heading off to the landfill, and who may also want something made by Carly's fair hands.
So we've got one with a completed handle and our little Cadoa logo tab on there, and then on the other end we pop a little shackle. Now I've just got to splice this through.
It's some we made earlier. For anybody who actually might be interested in checking out the leads that Carly make, every single one is different. It's very rare we do the same one twice because we're just picking bits of line that are good enough to, as I say, reuse and repurpose. But if you want to check out, links in the description below to our website, where again, this is all Carly's doing. She's put a shop together, and as and when something comes available, you can click it and buy it. So go check it out and see what you think. That was quick.
I know. And there we have it. A little snap shackle on there, and then I'll wrap some, what do you call it, whipping around there, and it will all be secure, and that one will be ready to go up online.
Amazing. Perfect job. Okay, so the real reason that many of you are here, the whole how much money does YouTube pay us for 1 million views, because you probably clicked on the thumbnail that said that. I have it here. It is also worth mentioning though that our YouTube video income is split in half basically, because we also have some amazingly generous Patreon supporters who contribute towards our filmmaking efforts, and it's a really lovely relationship that's unfolded with many of them as well, purely because a lot of them have gone above and beyond. Loads of wisdom that's been dropped into our Patreon page and people helping us out in lots of different ways. But also we have what's called Patreon Post, which just started out as us sending a postcard to Patreons all over the world from wherever we happen to be docked, just giving them a bit of behind the scenes of what's going on at that particular moment. And the really lovely thing about that is as we send all these cards out, then a lot of these people will sort of write back and, you know, sort of email us on Patreon about, oh, we got your card, thank you very much, and give us some insight into what's going on with them, or how they can maybe relate to where we are and what we're doing. And this has kind of just evolved into an almost pen pal relationship. So now every card we send out is totally different, because we're in this really interesting dynamic with all these different people, and it's just become this really lovely thing. You know, pen pals? It's 2020. You haven't had pen pals since the late 80s, or I haven't anyway. So it's a really lovely thing. If you'd like to find out more about our Patreon page and ways to support us, then again, I'll pop a link in the description. Go check it out. If you want to join our Patreon post crew, that would be super cool as well. As I say, we've got people over in Australia, over in America, and a whole bunch of people closer to home, and it's just lovely to know that the postcard's making it safe and well all around the world. But I digress again. How much money is YouTube paying us for 1 million video views? I have it right here, and I'm just going to tell you. YouTube pays us $2,775.06 for 1 million video views, and in English that is £2,045.63. That might sound pretty good. I mean, if you're making videos that are getting millions of views in the sailing context, then firstly, well done, and secondly, that's not bad. Sadly for us, it took 16 months to get 1 million views, and many videos. In fact, when you break that down on a monthly basis, YouTube's paying us about £130 a month. And then we have our patrons on top of that, which bolsters it up, which is lovely. But this is why we have to get jobs as well, obviously, and have side hustles, and, you know, there's many different ways as we get money. And we're not complaining, but a lot of people were interested to know how much we make, and that's it. That's how much we make. So it's not a rags to riches story. It's another way. It all helps. And Other things that help are just being more frugal, realizing how much you don't need, and YouTube has been an amazing asset in so many other ways. All the people sharing their knowledge with us on all the mistakes we make and helping steering us in the right direction with some of the projects that we've been doing, but also helping us become more self-reliant, more self-sufficient, because, you know, for example, getting the engine serviced on one of these Volvo Penta engines is £400 to £500 depending on who you ask or what engine you have. Yet you can buy all the parts to service the engine yourself, and a few YouTube videos later and you've done it for £100. So it's all these different ways that you're just learning to become more self-reliant, and that's a really liberating feeling. It adds another layer, I think, to the adventure. So there you go, that's how much money we make from YouTube. They're the various different ways that we put money in the sailing kitty, keep the adventure going. It's not the worst way to spend your time at all. I feel really lucky and privileged to be in this position. And look, 2020 has been a crazy year. It's 2021. We're in a state of lockdown here in the UK at the moment, and there seems to be some sort of light on the horizon, I think. The idea that normality might be with us again, hopefully, so we can give the ones we love a bit of a squeeze and then head off on whatever adventures it is we want to go on, or just go back to work, just do something approaching normal again. Whatever it is, hopefully this year will be better than the previous. If you want to follow us, then hit the subscribe button. That all helps as well. The more people we have subscribed to the channel, the less hulls I have to scrape, maybe. Hopefully. But look, I hope you're all staying safe and well, and as always, it's our pleasure to make these videos, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.